Barack Obama is mad at black men. I mean, you're going to see in this clip that he gets sassy with the men. Barack, we got a right to support who we want to support. Didn't you say that elections have consequences? Well, ever since the Biden administration has been in the White House after President Trump, it's been a mess. And black men have understood and come to the realization that we are being taken for granted. How dare you, Barack Hussein Obama, try to get gangster on us? Take a look at this.
My understanding, based on reports I'm getting from campaigns and communities, is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. And you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I've got a problem with that because part of it makes me think, and I'm speaking to men directly now, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that.
His first method of manipulation is to try to say that the black men aren't supporting Kamala Harris because she's a woman. That is a cheap shot. I don't even want to say it's a low blow. No pun intended. But this is awful. So you're going to confront these men and say, the reason why she's suffering in the polls is because you brothers don't want to support her because she's a woman. Get out of here. That is so dastardly. The real reason why black men aren't supporting Kamala Harris is because she's a failure. She is the proverbial DEI hire. She received nearly 1% of the vote when she campaigned against Joe Biden in the first place. And then he said, in the same manner that he spoke of the Supreme Court, he said he wanted to have a black female for the Supreme Court. Who did he select? Ketanji Brown Jackson. He said he wanted a black woman to be his VP. Who did he select? A DEI hire. Someone who, in normal cases, would not be the VP because they are a train wreck, a failure, a very big failure. He selects Kamala Harris. And so this has nothing to do with supporting a woman, but it has everything to do with not supporting a candidate that can't perform and do the job. Let it roll.
But the lecturing didn't stop there. As Barack Obama put on a stern fatherly act, he asked black men to learn from black women, whom the former president claims are against Donald Trump.
Because the women in our lives have been getting our backs this entire time.
What?
They've been raising us and working and having our backs. And when we get in trouble and the system's not working for us, they're the ones who are out there marching and protesting. And so now you're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you? That's not acceptable.
Hold up, wait a minute. Let me put some John Woo in it. They done lost their mind. Come on, Barack. you all gonna support someone that's been denigrating you? I beg you a pardon. I beg you a big pardon. Do you not remember when Joey Biden, the man who was kicked down the steps into the basement and replaced? Do you not remember when he said that if you're trying to figure out if you're gonna vote for me or President Trump, then you ain't black? He questioned our pigmentation just because we did not want to support him. Why does my blackness get diminished when I choose to support the Republican candidate? Tell me, talk to me, say something, put something below, make a comment, talk to Red Woo today. I feel fired up. Why is it that our blackness has to be called on the carpet when we choose to support the candidate who supports school choice? How about the candidate who supports election integrity? How about the candidate that supports, keeping pornographic material away from our kids? What about the candidate who supports bringing down inflation and making it easier for people who are in the middle class and first-time home buyers to actually be a first-time home buyer instead of being a lifetime renter? What about that? But instead, he wants to sit smug and he folded his arm like he getting ready to pull off his belt. I mean, he folding his arm like he getting ready to do he think that he's talking to Malia and whatever his other daughter name is. He getting ready to he acting like he getting ready to do one of these. How dare you, Barack Obama? What you gonna do? Whoop me? You gonna whoop me? Are you gonna whoop me? I'm talking to you. You gonna put you gonna whoop me. You gonna whoop me because I put on this hat. And this says make America godly again. We trying to make it great too, because if it's godly, it's going to be great, baby. Did you hear that? If it's godly, it's going to be great. Well, you gonna whoop me. You gonna whoop me, Barack? Huh? You gonna whoop me because I don't support Kamala Harris. This is a shame. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. You got me sweating in here, man. I'm working up a sweat trying to show how foolish you are. Let it roll.
What Obama meant was that the Democratic Party is seeing a slump in support for Kamala Harris among black men, and that it was a major concern in the upcoming presidential election. What started out as a fatherly lecture came back to bite back Obama. Black men took to social media to share their frustration. While some cracked jokes about the former president, others told him to get lost and go back to his mansion. Most users said that they did not need anyone to tell them whom they should be voting for.
Preach.
Some black men took pot shots at Barack Obama. One user even said that Obama acted like a black father himself by disappearing for years and only coming back when he had the authority. Many accused Obama, who was also the first black American president, of doing nothing for the black community.
True.
Barack Obama wanted to gather more support for Vice President Kamala Harris, but he's managed to do the opposite. Recent polls show that not just black men and black voters, but even Latin Americans are pivoting towards Donald Trump over Kamala Harris. Support for the Republican candidate among black voters is at an all-time high in over a decade. Meanwhile, black support for the Democrats has fallen by 14%.
Let me fold my arms as I look at this.
Among Hispanic voters, Donald Trump is seeing a rise among Latino men, while Hispanic women still support Kamala Harris in large numbers. But Trump is trying to change the tide. He knows that he's growing popular among the Hispanic community. And this is despite the Republican frequently calling Latino countries a shithole while terming Hispanic migrants as criminals and rapists. Identity and race politics is peaking in the United States. The Democrats are reaching out to people of color, and so is Donald Trump. He already enjoys the support of white male voters by an overwhelming number. While the vice president enjoys support from women and women of color. After migration, economy and abortion, race has made an entry in the race for the White House.
Here we go. This is the issue. According to Newsweek, a recent poll from the NAACP shows that Harris is underperforming with black voters, especially black men. 79% of black women over 50 said they would vote for Harris, but only 66% of men over 50 are planning to do so. Just 56% of black voters aged 18 to 49 support Harris, which suggests that her campaign is struggling to energize this demographic. That's true. I mean, you're not motivating men to support you, especially by putting your homeboy, your brother up there. Barack Obama got him up there folding his arms and acting like he gonna whoop somebody. That ain't helping. That ain't gonna do it. Ain't no brother that I know gonna let somebody sit up there like this. All this stuff. Like he get ready to haul off and take his belt off and hit somebody. No, I wish a ninja would. We're not going for that. See, here's the issue. People oftentimes ask me, well, John, what did President Trump do for black people? All right, I'm glad you asked that question. What did President Trump do for black people? Let's talk about some of his accomplishments. Barely a month after taking office, President Trump signed an executive order to move the federal HBCU initiative back to the White House, making sure it was a key priority. That's major, because by and large, who go to these schools? Black people. All right? President Trump directed agencies across his administration to develop plans to enhance their support for HBCUs. Who does that help? Black people. As President Trump signed into law the Future Act, making permanent $255 million in annual funding for who? HBCUs, and increasing funding for the federal Pell Grant program. Who does that help? Black people. President Trump also signed legislation that included more than $100 million for scholarships, research, and centers of excellence at HBCU land grant institutions. Who does that help? Black people. President Trump forgave $322 million in disaster loans to 4 HBCUs in 2018 so they could fully focus on educating their students. Who does this help? Black students. President Trump's America First agenda led to over 350,000 black Americans lifting themselves out of poverty due to booming manufacturing and smarter trade policies. Who did this help? Black people. President Trump created the opportunity zones, you know, those dilapidated buildings, those rundown homes that we see in the ghetto, in the hood. Day got cars from his uncle's that's been sitting up under that tree with mold and mildew on it, can't drive it, can't use it, could sell it for part to make about, maybe 20 cents. But instead, they keep it under the tree, and it's an eyesore. Well, President Trump said we need to revitalize these areas and build them up. And so he led a campaign that helped bring $75 billion in new private investment into distressed communities. And who does that help? Black people. I can go on. The new investments led to a rise in home values, creating $11 billion in new wealth in minority neighborhoods. Who does that help? Black people. The majority of Opportunity Zone residents are minorities, including more than 7 million Black Americans. Who does that help? Black people. President Trump signed into law the landmark First Step Act, a major reversal from President Biden's 1994 crime bill that disproportionately targeted who? Black people. President Trump launched a new ready-to-work initiative to help connect employers directly with former prisoners. President Trump awarded $2.2 million to states to expand the use of fidelity bonds, which underwrite companies that hire former prisoners. All of this happened under President Trump. I'm going on and on and on and on. You get the point. This is according to Black Americans for Trump. You see it for yourself. President Trump did a lot for Black people. But when Kamala was asked what she was going to do for Black people, she couldn't tell you because she didn't want a position, She didn't want to position herself in that manner to make it look like she was just trying to support us. Because, everybody, you got to be careful when it comes to us's. You understand? Be mindful of what you do with us's. And so you see for yourself, Barack Hussein Obama up there like he getting ready to whoop somebody. This is sad. This is sad. When you leave the liberal plantation, massa would try to whoop you. But I say to you, brothers and sisters out there, don't let them do it. Run like Kunta. Get away. Get out of this mess. And hope for a better day. Now, I'll be the first to tell you that I don't get my talking points from the RNC nor the DNC, but I get my talking points from the BIBLE. And I got a right to support who I want to support. And can't nobody make me vote for someone just because of identity politics. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Make America godly again.